Hello and thank you for joining us on the news. I am Robert Kalua. Let's have a look at the headlines. MCTU cancels its planned nationwide demonstrations scheduled for Thursday. Supreme Court of Appeal in Blantyre dismisses an appeal case to overturn prison sentence for Misozi Chantunya. 6 Malawian medical laboratories attend Zodiak ISO standards. In sports, the Flames officially wrap up their 2021 Kosovo Cup campaign with a 2-1 loss to Senegal. The Malawi Congress of Trade Unions MCTU has cancelled its planned nationwide demonstrations scheduled for Thursday. They were over the controversial Labour Relations Amendment Bill, which was passed in Parliament last week, Wednesday. According to MCTU President Charles Gumchenga, they met President Lazarus Chakwera, who he said has promised to send the bill back to Parliament for further scrutiny. He explains.
This afternoon we were invited by the head of state to discuss on the same issue. And according to the head of state, he has promised us that he is not going to sign the bill until thorough consultations are done. So we have seen it. We have seen that it is quite better for us to suspend the nationwide demonstrations. Sometimes it happens that the promises might not be fulfilled because of one or two reasons. But that's why we are using the word suspension, because by suspending it means one day, tomorrow or the other day, the demonstrations might still take place after seeing that the promises have been violated. The key issue is consultation, because in the bill itself there are a lot of issues. We are talking of limiting the number of days for the strike and many others. But the point we are making is there must be thorough consultations and the MCTU must be heard. That is the key issue.
The Truck Drivers Association says it is still contemplating whether to proceed with its planned protest after Transport Ministry officials agreed to address 87% of its grievances. The drivers claim that the employees and government have not implemented what was agreed during the negotiations last year on a pay hike and reduced payment and passport fees. Speaking with Zodiak Wednesday afternoon, the association's chairperson, Major Mkandawire, said the Ministry of Transport has promised to act on the concerns. Spokesperson of the Ministry of Transport, Andrew Mtiko, asked for more time before commenting on the matter. The Supreme Court of Appeal in Blantyre has dismissed an appeal case to overturn the prison sentence for Misozi Chantunya. He was convicted for murder of his Zimbabwean lover Linda Gasa in 2010. Happy Jeremano has filed this report.
The Director of Public Prosecution, Dr. Stephen Kayuni, says the soul of Linda Gasa can finally rest in peace after the Malawi Supreme Court of Appeal dismissed an appeal application by Misozi Chantunya. Dr. Kayuni told the 7-member panel of judges in Blantyre that evidence presented in the lower court proved that the convict committed the offence.
Our arguments were to the effect that the call logs that were relied on are call logs that an honourable court in this country, within the jurisdiction of this country, would be able to rely on, and that the evidential value that was in there is something that the court can rely on in terms of a conviction. It points to the fact that Miss Linda Gasa was in Monkey Bay, and Miss Linda Gasa as well was in touch with the appellant at the time, Mr. Misozi Chantunya, and she was also in touch with her sister from Blantyre.
Lawyer for Chantunya, Michael Goba Chipeta, argued that the evidence was bogus and based on hearsay, but reserved his comment until he read a full judgment.
There were 6 grounds of appeal. Okay, the first 3 related to the errors that the High Court made with regard to the convictions on the offences of the offences of murder, hindering burial of a dead body, and perjury.
Chantunya was committed to life imprisonment for murdering his Zimbabwean girlfriend Linda Gasa in 2010.
Farmers Union of Malawi has tipped government to let ADMAC invest in grain drying facility to end problems of moisture content that leads to the grain marketer coming on the market late to purchase maize from farmers. FUM President Frighton Njolomore's remarks follow an outcry from farmers in the northern and central regions where the company has not yet started buying maize due to high moisture content. The state has changed an application by the Center for Human Rights, Education, Advice and Assistance, CHRREA, which is pushing for the decriminalization of consensual sex between adolescents in the country. The state lawyer Gift Msume argues that the application is premature and lacks basis. CHREA, through lead lawyer Chikondi Chijozi, is seeking a constitutional review following an arrest of a 15-year-old boy who is answering defilement charges on privacy and dignity grounds.
The human rights body, CREA, through their lead lawyer Chikondi Chijozi, are seeking a constitutional review following an arrest of a 15-year-old boy who is answering defilement charges. The minor was arrested and charged with the offence of defilement contrary to Section 138 of the Penal Code because of having consensual sexual relationship with another minor. The country's laws do not recognize males as minors on cases of rape and defilement.
In terms of the law under Section 26 of the Courts Act, the court has general supervisory powers at any stage of the proceedings over any matter that is before the subordinate court. So at this point in time, a child has been charged with offense of defilement, and the court has to exercise its revisionary powers, whether it is proper that a child should continue to be appearing before a subordinate court over charges of defilement in a case where it's involving consensual sexual relationships between adolescents.
But senior state advocate Gift Msume argued before the court that this argument lacks basis and has been brought before the court prematurely. After hearing the preliminary objections in the matter at the Blantyre Registry on Wednesday, High Court Judge Agnes Patemba has given the two sides 14 days to submit their written submissions, their written arguments. Judge Patemba has also committed she will rule on whether a constitutional court should review the matter or not after a fortnight of the submissions. For Zodiak in Blantyre, this is Alex Banda.
You're watching the news here on Zodiac. We'll be back with more after this.
I got a call from my driver telling me that my motor vehicle was involved in an accident in Balaka. I was shocked and very worried, considering that the car was only 4 months old.
Get your vehicle covered against road accidents, fire, theft, and third-party liabilities at CIC General Insurance Limited.
I submitted all my claim documents to my insurer, CIC, and within 14 days, I got my settlement through a bank transfer. I was very delighted and inspired. Later, I managed to purchase a replacement vehicle. Throughout the process, CIC staff were very diligent, friendly, accommodating, and professional all the time.
Our professional and friendly staff will ensure that you get the best customer experience that is second to none. For more information, visit our offices in Lilongwe at Area 3 Judge Building, opposite the District Commissioner's office. And in Blantyre, visit our offices at Livingstone House behind Plantation House.
I recommend CIC all day, every day for all your insurance needs.
CIC, we keep our word.
Welcome back. A look at the headlines as we continue. MCTU cancels its planned nationwide demonstrations scheduled for Thursday. Supreme Court of Appeal in Blantyre dismisses an appeal case to overturn prison sentence for Misozi Chantunya. 6 Malawian medical laboratories attain Sadicus ISO standards. And in sports, the Flames officially wrap up the 2021 COSAFA Cup campaign with a 2-1 loss against Senegal. In business and finance, NBS Bank customers can now deposit and withdraw cash with any Farmers World outlet across the country. NBS Bank Regional Manager for the Central and Southern Region, Trison Kalanda, says the agreement is aimed at reducing congestion in their banking halls and ensure the clients in rural areas have easy access to banking services. The two companies sealed the deal on Tuesday at Chimbia in Dedza. Chikondi Mpande filed this report.
The corporate gesture is in clear recognition of the growth of the unbanked in Malawi. Village banks and people in rural areas struggle to access banking services, a problem which NBS Bank Regional Manager for the Central and Southern Regions, Trison Kalanda, acknowledges. The decision to partner Farmers World, Kalanda said, is a counter to other initiatives that have failed. With the new arrangement, NBS customers can deposit or withdraw cash in designated Farmers World outlets. Kalanda assures of safety with the new arrangement as money shall be going direct into their bank accounts despite depositing through Farmers World outlets. Financial Controller for Farmers World, Hano Us, said his organization is in this partnership as demonstration of its commitment to serving communities in which it operates. Farmers World has 85 outlets from where farmers will now be able to access NBS Bank using the National Identity Card.
A total of 6 Malawian medical laboratories have been accredited for attaining the Southern African Development Community Accreditation Service, Zodiak's ISO 15189, which health specialists describe as a great milestone in the provision of international health care. Presiding over the Malawi Medical Laboratories, Zodiak's ISO 15189 accreditation award ceremony in Lilongwe today, Health Minister Kumbize Kandodo Chiponda says this is an assurance that Malawi is providing quality medical laboratory services that are recognized globally. Grace Kombe with details.
The 6 Malawi medical laboratories are the National HIV Reference, Partners in Hope, Dream Balaka, Dream Blantyre, My Ward Private Hospital, and Malawi Liverpool Wellcome Trust. Health Minister Kumbize Kandodo Chiponda says attaining Zodiak's ISO 15189 is a great milestone in the provision of quality laboratory services in the country and beyond. She said the medical laboratories, which are providing diagnostic services for HIV, TB, malaria, and other diseases, will help in the control and prevention of deaths that are occurring due to lack of expertise in local laboratories.
It gives confidence to the people who are accessing services from that laboratory, even internationally. So wherever you are going, you need to have those people, trusting that you have gone through a process, a well-trusted process. That is how important the laboratories are.
Zodiak's principal investigator, Alashira Bimuku, and U.S. Ambassador to Malawi, Robert Scott, have applauded Malawi for attaining Zodiak's ISO 15189, saying this has boosted confidence in as far as the provision of laboratory services is concerned in the country.
Being accredited means that you become part of the international world. So whatever test is done in any of these labs can be replicated in any part of the world.
Malawi Liverpool Wellcome Trust Quality Assurance Officer Joshua Kapiga said although the journey was tough, the accreditation has motivated the organization to continue providing quality laboratory services even in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic.
This will bring confidence to our laboratory technicians because they are now aware that whatever they are doing it in the right way and they are producing quality results.
Southern Africa Development Community Accreditation Services, SADCAS, was instituted to meet the accreditation needs of 13 SADC member states in promoting integration of quality management framework and validates that laboratories perform according to international standards. This is Grace Kombe for Zodiak.
Former Malawi Energy Regulatory Authority Mayor Collins Magalasi and 3 others will be back in court Thursday morning to continue answering his fraud and money laundering case. Magalasi and the other, including businesswoman Dorothy Shonga, appeared during cross-examination of 7th and 8th witnesses, Zakaria Ngoma and Alexander Ganiza, on the procurement of an 8,000-meter mirror cloth at 43 million kwacha. And in sports, the country's national soccer team, the Flames, have officially wrapped up their 2021 COSAFA Cup campaign with a 2-1 loss against Senegal. The match was played at Isaac Wolfson Stadium in South Africa. The Flames were already out of the competition, and the match against the Teranga Lions was just ceremonial. Bright Kanyama has filed this report.
The Malawi national team, the Flames' attempt to win COSAFA Cup for the 20th time has ended miserably as they have failed to win a single match at the 2021 edition of the Cup. Flames started with a 2-2 draw against Zimbabwe before going down to Mozambique by 2-0 2 days later. Another 1-0 draw against Namibia followed, and the final game against Senegal ended in another defeat for the Flames by 2-1. Senegal scored through Abu Bakr Diop in the first half. Kuda Miawa came from the bench to put the scores on level terms, but Diop scored his second and the winner for Senegal in dying minutes with a header from the centre of the box. Malawi has finished on position 4 with just 2 points from a possible 12 points in a group of 5 teams. Flames coach Meke Mwase told sports journalists after the match that loss of concentration towards the end cost them the match, but was satisfied with the overall performance of his charges throughout the campaign. This was the 20th time the Flames have participated in the COSAFA Cup but have not won the competition. The closest they have gone to clinch the title was in 2002 and 2003 when they finished as runners-up on both occasions. The Flames are expected to arrive back home on Thursday. For Zodiac, this is Bright Kanyama.
Well, that's about what we had time for in this edition of news. But before we go, a look at the headlines. MCTU cancels its planned nationwide demonstrations scheduled for Thursday. Supreme Court of Appeal in Blantyre dismisses an appeal case to overturn prison sentence for Misozi Chantunya. 6 Malawian medical laboratories attain Zodiak ASISO standards. In sports, the Flames officially wrap up the 2021 COSAFA Cup campaign with a 2-1 loss against Senegal. Visit our website, zodiacmalawi.com, for more news. My name is Robert Karo. Thanks for watching.